I'm Jocelyn Durgach, and I'm the creative director here at Encompass TV. Today we're going to be going over how to do an install. This will be a short video on basically how to walk you through the entire installation process. I have a few items out here today. These are all things that you'll probably need during your installation. First of all is the TV. We recommend using LG Smart TVs as they have a programming feature. I'll go over this a little bit later. One thing that you may find that you need is a switch. This can be used for extending the amount of ports that your host may have. This is something that you won't need to use for every install. Here is an actual Pi. These are what are going to be sent to you via the tech support team. The big things to note for the Pis are this number that you'll receive. It'll be printed on every single one. This number is the unique identifier for the Pi. You'll need to provide this to the install team when you submit your form online. The few little features about the Pi, it's got basic ports on it. So we've got our USB ports, our Ethernet Cat5 port, our HDMI port, and our power port. Inside, you can see that it's pretty basic. The only thing to really note is the fan. You'll want to make sure that when you do install, you'll never be covering up the main outside. Now the Pis may come in a few different colors. This is just our black case. We do have a few different ones such as red and blue, so yours might look a little different, but it's going to be the same basic setup. Next up, these are power line adapters. These are great because they allow you to use the existing electrical circuit in the host building rather than running cable that may be expensive or time consuming. These run about $80 and can save you hundreds on having a contractor come out and run cable for you. They're very easy to install. They take about a minute, just plug and play. The big thing with these that you want to remember though, they can't be plugged into any extension cord. Directly into the wall is the big thing. So these are great because they make the install process much easier. I'm going to show you how to use these a little bit later, but it takes about a few minutes to actually set them up and be able to use them. Next up, we have just the basic things that we'll need for our install. Here's the HDMI cord. Nothing special about these. You can find these online for about $10 for a 3-pack. Then we have our Cat5 Ethernet cable. Nothing too special about these. We do recommend that you try and find cables that are maybe a different color than your typical cables. Typical cables that you'll find in an actual host are going to be black, white, maybe a blue. So if you find ones that are green, orange, anything like that, your cable is going to stand out. Now if you can't find anything like that, one thing we do suggest is finding some colorful duct tape and taping along the cord. That way, when you do your install, you'll always know that that cord is yours. So when you go back and say your player is not updating and you have to go troubleshoot, you can easily tell if your cord has been unplugged. It's a great, easy tip right now that could save you some headaches later. An extension cord, the power cord for our Pi, a USB extension cord. Next up is the smart plug. These will come with every single Pi that's shipped to you from our tech support team. These are fantastic because they allow you to control whether or not your Pi is on or off, allowing you to avoid having to drive to every single location. I'll go over these and how to set up everything from the app to the install a little bit later. These are great because a lot of laptops nowadays do not have Ethernet ports. So you may find that you need one of these for your laptop in order to check the internet speed, which is something that you'll want to do before every install to make sure that the speed of the internet at your host location will be fast enough to actually support the Pi. The last few things that we have here, we have a couple of cable management tools. So these are stickies that allow you to stick either to the TV or wherever you need to, and you're able to reuse these. We have some zip ties. We recommend zip ties only for something that you're not going to have to maybe move around a lot. and then Velcro. Velcro is probably the biggest cable management tool that we suggest, just because it's easy to take off, take on if you do need to do any replacement later on. Last up, we have our wireless keyboard here. So the wireless keyboard, we want to make sure it has a built-in trackpad. This allows you to not have additional things that you'll need to plug in later on. With the wireless keyboards, they always come with a very tiny little dongle. These are very easy to lose, and I can't tell you how many times I've had to replace them for people here in this office. My suggestion is to get a little USB extender, put some Velcro on it, and then you can easily tell whether or not you've left that dongle at a host location. It'll save you time, energy, and a lot of sanity. So first thing for our installation today, we're going to be going into wherever the router is. So in our case, it's going to be back in a closet. A lot of times this is going to be in an office, under a desk, somewhere back tucked away. There's usually going to be a lot of cords. It's going to be very messy. So right now we've got our router right here. All of the ports were actually full, so I needed to do an additional switch right here to have more open ports. Now from here, I'm going to take an Ethernet cable. I've decorated this one with some funky duct tape so I know that it's mine, and then just plug it directly into one of the open ports on the switch. Next up, we're just going to plug our power line adapter directly into the wall right here, and then connect the Ethernet cable that we just plugged into the switch right into our power line adapter. This will make the circuit for our Ethernet cable so we don't have to run any cable later on. After you've plugged in your power line adapter near the router, next you'll want to plug in your other power line adapter closer to where you're going to install. So we're going to plug it directly into the wall again. This should have created a circuit, so now as long as it's on the same grid, your cables can now be ran directly from here. We're going to plug in our Ethernet cable right now. After that, we're going to plug in our Wi-Fi smart plug, and then we're going to set it up using our app on our phone. Alright, and then I'm going to go to the Genie app. So it's this little blue app right here. And then from here, this is going to be where we configure our smart Wi-Fi plug. This app allows you to communicate with the tech team and share the plugs. That way, if you ever are unable to turn them off yourself, they're able to do it. So we're just going to go up and hit the little plus sign. Hit smart power. Is it blinking quickly? Yes. We're going to put in the Wi-Fi for wherever we're at. So this is the only portion of the whole install that you're going to need the Wi-Fi. So I've already, my phone's already actually set up for the Wi-Fi, so I just have to confirm it. And then now it's going to connect. So this may take a couple of minutes. Alright, now we're just going to change the name. We're going to name it whatever we want to. So for this one, we're in the training room, so I'm going to name it that. If you were at a specific host location, anything like that, you can name it exactly what you want. So we're just going to hit done. And then now we can tell that the socket is on. So I can turn it off and turn it back on. And that's as easy as setting up the smart plug. So now we're going to go on and continue with the rest of the install. For today, I've already went ahead and installed the TV. This is again just an LG Smart TV. It has a programming feature built in that allows you to set the settings and turn the TV off at a specific time every single day. This also allows you to power the Pi directly from the TV and alleviates a lot of issues that you may have with the Pi turning on and off. So from here, I've actually mounted my TV already with a swivel mount. These are great because they allow you to get up and behind your TV to work on anything when you're doing the installation, but also later on if you ever need to troubleshoot at this host location again. So after we've run all of our cables to power on the television and the internet, next up we're going to actually do all of our the actual installation of the Pi here at the TV. So I've got my Pi and I've got my Velcro. I'm going to make sure that when I install, I'm not covering up the fan, and I'm also going to always have the HDMI port and the power point pointing up. So the Velcro, I just have a simple Velcro strap that I can just take, and I'm going to want to make sure that I mount it on the mount, not touching the TV. So take my HDMI cord, plug in the HDMI cord to the top where our HDMI port is, and then I'm going to plug it directly into the TV at the appropriate port. Then I'm going to take my power cord for the Pi. I'm going to plug it in to the port and then plug it into my TV at the USB slot. This is all the power that I'll need to run my Pi. At this time, I'll also want to make sure that we're plugging in our TV to the extension cord. And then we're going to take the Ethernet cable that we ran already from the power line adapter, and we're going to plug it in as well right now. The last thing is I'm going to take my USB extension cord that we talked about earlier, and I'm going to plug it in to the USB port, and then you're going to leave it right in your TV. Now when you do your installation, you'll want to make sure that you have all of your cables up and contained appropriately. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and I'm going to show you in just a little bit. So once we've finished doing all of our cable management, making the backside look really nice, we're ready to turn the TV on. So I'm going to bring it around to the front. And then with my remote, I'm just going to turn it on. So this is the Pi booting up right now. It's powered from the TV, so every time I turn the TV on, the Pi will turn on. It'll take a few minutes, and then you should see a screen like this turn on. Then it's going to start and open the software that will actually run all of your ads and everything. Alright, so for this host installation, I've already gotten with the tech team and had them load up every ad that we needed to be played on the TV. So as soon as I plug it in, everything should be playing. Alright, so that's all that it takes to do an installation. I hope you enjoyed this and learned a lot.